Hello and welcome back for a webinar on spatial sense organs. My dear students, we have started the study of spatial sense organs since yesterday. Yesterday we have completed the first episode and today we are going for a second episode on spatial sense organs. At the outset, let me tell you that there are four types of spatial senses or spatial sense organs, and those are olfaction, gustation, hearing, and vision. So this equilibrium, what we see, it is a part of hearing. The hearing and balance are both, functions of ear. So there are four spatial senses, not five. You can see ear, tongue, and nose, and eye. And yesterday we have studied, the different types of senses. There's spatial senses. In spatial senses, these four types plus general senses. That all we have studied. Plus these four spatial senses are divided into two parts: chemical senses and non-chemical senses. In chemical senses, we have two sensations, that is taste sensation and smell sensation, which are called as gustation and olfaction respectively. And these two sensations we have studied yesterday. And there are other two special sensations which are called as vision and audition, or vision and hearing. And these are non-chemical because these are physical, based on physics. Vision is based on light rays and hearing is based on sound waves. So today we will study these two. I try to cover at least vision today. So I welcome you all for the study of vision. That means non-chemical spatial sensation. Okay. So for vision, we have to understand the outline of eye, at least, if not total anatomy, where you can see the eyebrows, okay? And here you can see the eyelids, and eyelids are called as palpebrae because one eyelid is called as palpebra. So two are called as palpebrae. And eyelids have got hair on its margin, so those are called as eyelashes, okay? And canthi means angles of the eyelids because eye has got two angles, and these two angles are canthi, the medial angle and lateral angle. Epicanthic fold is found here in the medial, angle here above, especially in Asians. And lacrimal caruncle means fleshy elevation found at the medial canthus. You can see here, this is a lacrimal caruncle. So these are the some features of eye from outside, what we call external features of eye. You can see in this image all the external features of eye, right from eyelids, and you can see the lacrimal gland underneath at the lateral end of the eye because this is middle end. You can see the caruncle here, and two eyelids with eyelashes, conjunctiva, and this what you call cornea in the center. You can see the iris, okay, in inner canthus and outer canthus, or medial canthus or lateral canthus, and so on. You can see the iris also, and this white sclera. Well, this is the nasal side, means medial side, and this is temporal side, means side of the ear or lateral side. Now, accessory structures of eye also include these two important glands. You can see apart from lacrimal gland, there is a meibomian glands, which are modified sebaceous glands in the eyelid. And infection of these meibomian glands will cause chalazions. Chalazions are different than styes, okay? And there are ciliary glands between hair follicles of the eyelashes. Infection of these are called as stye. So stye and chalazion are the two infectious diseases on the eyelids. Conjunctiva is a mucous membrane covering the eye. An infection of this conjunctiva will lead to conjunctivitis or pink eye or red eye. So it is actually redness of the eyes is due to conjunctivitis. Other accessory structure of eye includes lacrimal apparatus. Lacrimal apparatus means apparatus which is responsible for tears. So in that the main structure is the lacrimal gland. So lacrimal glands secrete tears, and lacrimal secretions means tears, which contains mucus, antibodies, and lysozymes, which cleans and protect and lubricate the eye. So it is essential for these purposes: cleansing, protection, and lubrication of eye, because for easy and smooth movements of eyeball. Here you can see the lacrimal apparatus, or you can see lacrimal gland and the ducts. Usually lacrimal gland, you can see it is located on the upper side, upper lateral, superolateral side of the eyeball. Okay, and this is all lacrimal sac made by conjunctiva. You can see the excretory drugs of lacrimal gland, and this all coming in the eye cavity and finally drained in the nasolacrimal duct and out from the nose lower end. Okay, so these are the structures which are present in the lacrimal apparatus: lacrimal gland, excretory duct of lacrimal gland, conjunctiva. Conjunctival sac contains lacrimal fluid, and here this eye is closed because upper light comes down to close, and here you can see the opening, palpebral opening, what we call. So lacrimal apparatus is asked in exams most of the times. Conjunctiva is also asked in exams. This eye has got extrinsic muscles which makes the eyeball move. So there are intrinsic muscles which are inside, and there are extrinsic muscles which are outside attached to the eyeball, and there are 4 recti. So these are medial, lateral, superior, and inferior. 4 recti, one is rectus, and 2 obliqui, superior and inferior oblique. And these are the actually 6 muscles which are attached to the eyeball. But there is one muscle in the palpebra and upper eyelid. Sometimes it is also counted for responsible for movements of the eyeball to open the eyelid, upper eyelid. But actually these 6 are the extrinsic muscles of the eyeball which are responsible for the movement of eyeball. So lateral rotation, medial rotation, superior rotation, inferior rotation, and so on. Here you can see all those muscles. You can see all 4 recti. They are straight. Recti means straight. And 2 obliqui, you can see this superior oblique, you can see very clearly here. And the superior oblique muscle always has got a trochlea. Here is the trochlea. Trochlea means pulley. Okay. And this superior oblique muscle is supplied by cranial nerve number 4. I told you during cranial nerves study. And this muscle is supplied by cranial number 4, which is only one muscle. No other muscle is supplied. No, there is no other function for trochlear nerve. And that is why that nerve is called as trochlear, because of this structure, trochlea. There is a pulley there. And there is one lateral rectus muscle. You can see this lateral rectus muscle. This lateral rectus muscle is also supplied by a single cranial nerve number 6. So abducens nerve, because that helps your eyeball abduction. So that is why these are the 2 muscles which are having one nerve supply. Remaining all 4 muscles are supplied by the oculomotor nerve. Okay, and eyeball has got a special nerve supply by optic nerve, which is responsible for vision. So for vision there is only one nerve, and for general sensations of eyeball, other senses, general sensation, pain, touch, temperature, pressure, proprioception, there is nerve supply by ophthalmic division of trigeminal nerve. So trigeminal nerve is general sensory, optic nerve is a special sensory, and third cranial nerve is a motor nerve, plus 4 and 6. So many nerves supply the eyeball for different reasons. Okay, so you should know all these details. Extraocular muscles of eyeball is a question in exam. Most of them ask for short notes. Now this is inside the eyeball. So we call it as a structure of the eyeball. In the eyeball, you can see, we are going to go for the different codes later on. You can see the center placed lens. Very important structure is lens here. So in front of lens and behind lens, we have got different structures, and ultimately important structures is your retina, and you can see the optic disc, opposite to which there is a placement of optic nerve, which is actually inferior side. It is not in the center, but it is on the lower side, inferior side. Okay, and different structures which are present in the eyeball. We'll come to that part one by one. First is a fibrous coat. So our internal eyeball, you can have, we have that in three layers: outermost, middle, and innermost. Okay, so outermost layer is made up of fibrous tissue, so it is called as fibrous coat, or tunica fibrosa, or fibrous tunic. So this having a sclera. So it is made up of sclera. Sclera means white of the eye. In the eye, what you see, eye sclera. Okay, and uh, another structure is another structure is cornea. Cornea is clear portion in front of the eye. So if you see in the center, there is a cornea, and from surrounding it, there is a sclera. So these are the parts of fibrous coat. Next coat is vascular coat, or tunica vasculosa. This is a middle layer. Coat means layers. Okay. So it has got a choroid, vascular brown membrane. Then it has got a ciliary body which encircles lens, forming these three things: ciliary muscles, ciliary processes, and suspensory ligament. Okay, ciliary muscles control lens shape. Now the ciliary muscle is present inside, so it is called as intrinsic muscle of eyeball, and it controls the lens, and it is intrinsic plus autonomic because it is supplied by third cranial nerve for the purpose of sympathetic functions. So this is autonomic. Ciliary process contain capillaries that secrete fluid, and suspensory ligament to hold the lens. Okay, and iris is a color portion in the center, which is not a structure as such, but it is a potential space. एक पोकळी आहे, पण त्याला पोकळीला आपण आयरिस म्हणतो. ओके, sorry, iris is a muscle which makes a colored portion muscle, and pupil is an opening which is a potential space. I'm very sorry. Pupil is a opening in the center, which is not a structure. It is a potential space, and surrounding the pupil is a iris, which is a colored portion, colored structure. Okay, and this is unique in each individual. Iris is unique in each individual. And the last layer is the innermost layer, what is called as a nervous layer, also a tunica nervosa, or even also called as sensory tunic, because it is made up of retina. Retina is a nervous tissue actually, and this is a pigmental layer, and this absorbs the light to produce image. Okay, now neural layer contains photoreceptor cells. Here you have a photoreceptor cells, and cells of the retina. There are different types, like ganglionic cells generate action potential, and bipolar cells transfer energy from receptors to ganglionic cells, and photoreceptors are sensitive to light. So these are the photoreceptors. There are two types, and rods and cones. Okay, so here you can see those three structures: fibrous tunic or outside layer, choroid, or middle layer of tunica vasculosa, middle layer, and tunica nervosa, sensory tunic, inside layer. In this diagram again I am showing you. And retina has got these photoreceptors called as rods and cones. Rods are made for dim light. When the light is dim, they receive light, for the purpose of vision. But in that case, there is no color vision and peripheral vision. Okay, only central vision is seen as far as the rods are concerned. But cones are for bright light and color vision. So rods are black and white, cones for color vision. Now there is one macula lutea spot. Macula means spot, lutea means yellow. So also it is called a yellow spot directly behind the pupil. So it comes straight behind the pupil. Pupil is a potential space through which light passes and directly hits the back of center of the retina, and that center is called as macula lutea. Okay, and fovea central is minute pit in the center of macula lutea. So the core of the macula lutea is called as fovea central, is the exact center of the retina. And below that there is an attachment of optic nerve. So the optic disc is called as blind spot because it is location at the inferior side, junction between the optic nerve and the retina. So this is a blind spot. We can't see anything here, but you can see clearly here at the macula lutea or fovea centralis. because it contains only cones. Macular degeneration is linked to the nutritional deficiencies. So for color blindness, you have vitamin A responsible, retinol. So vitamin A is essential for color vision. Okay. Here you can see the picture of eye inside now. So in this case, you can see the cornea here, and you can see this, okay, potential space called as pupil, behind which there is a lens. And you can see the iris, which is surrounding the pupil here. Then you can see inside a retina, and exactly where the optic nerve is attached is called as uh, optic disc or blind spot. It should be little lower, खाली पाहिजे, आणि straight बरोबर ह्या इथे मॅक्युला ल्युटिया येते. And these are the muscles of extraocular muscles of eyeball, and this is the iris, sorry, ciliary body and ciliary muscle, you can see here. Well, apart from this structure, there are some internal chambers, and there are fluids containing fluids present in the internal chambers. So we have anterior segment and posterior segment. Anterior segment is in front of lens. So we have got that lens. So in front of lens, we have anterior segment, and behind lens, we have got a posterior segment. Posterior segment is very big, and it is filled with one clear gel-like substance, which is called as vitreous humor or vitreous body. And anterior segment is in front of lens, and this anterior segment contains aqueous humor. Okay, and this aqueous humor is again divided into two chambers, anterior chamber and posterior chamber, by iris. So in front of iris, anterior chamber; behind iris, posterior chamber; between iris and lens. So before lens, whatever if you want, aqueous humor. So these are having aqueous fluid, aqueous humor. Well, here you can see the internal chamber and fluids. Aqueous humor is a present in anterior segment, and it is a clear liquid, a clear fluid. And scleral venous sinus or canal of Slane drains aqueous humor back into the veins located at the corneal scleral junction. So between a junction between cornea and sclera. So glaucoma is one disorder which is caused due to elevated pressure of the aqueous humor, or what we call vitreous body actually. Now we have to understand at least some primary information about the lens which is present in your eyeball. Everybody must be familiar with this. It is biconvex, so it has got biconvexity like this, and it is transparent. It is held in place by suspensory ligaments with the help of ciliary muscle, ciliary body. Lens epithelium is present on outer side, which is called outer covering of the lens is the epithelium. Okay, and lens fibers make the inner bulk of the lens. So it is made up of folded proteins called crystallines. And a cataract is a disease of this lens. Cataract म्हणजे मोतीबिंदू. आणि मगाशी आपण जे ग्लॉकोमा बघितलं, ग्लॉकोमा is a disease of vitreous body. So it is called as काचबिंदू. Glaucoma means काचबिंदू. Cataract means मोतीबिंदू. So now this cataract is due to clouding of the lens. So the lens is transparent, and it becomes opaque. So no longer transparent. So that is called as cataract, and it looks like a pearl. So it is called as motibindu. Now it is age-related hardening and thickening of the lens due to diabetes mellitus or inadequate delivery of nutrition to the lens also cause. So aging मुळे होणारा तो आजार आहे. Here you can see image formed on the retina. Here is the retina. From see the light enters through the pupil, through then refraction through the lens, and it falls on the retina. So it has to pass through three refractory medium, like first is your sclera. Okay, then actually lens, you see to sclera here, and you can see this lens, then this fluid aqueous humor, and this fluid vitreous body, and it falls here. So this rays of the light entering into the eye. Okay, so pupil is a potential space opening made up of diaphragm. Diaphragm is a circular diaphragm. Now, what is the physiology of vision in short? Photons means packets of light. So they enter the eye for the purpose of vision. Electromagnetic spectrum of all wavelengths. Visible spectrum is 400 to 700 nanometers. 1 nanometer means 1 billionth of a meter. Okay, so small. The color is due to reflection of different wavelengths. Okay, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So this is about wavelength. Now refraction is required for what you call image forming on the retina. Reflection is different and refraction is different. Reflection means light bounce off the surface. Light falls and goes back. It's called as a reflection. You have studied this in in physics. Okay, but refraction means light enters and bends as it passes through one substance to another with a different density. So that is refraction. Refraction is required here for the vision, not reflection. So lens is a transparent material curved at one or both the surfaces by convex, thicker in the center, light coverages, concave, thicker at the edges, light spread. So light converges if it is convex, and if it becomes concave, light will spread. The focusing of light on the retina is required for the formation of image. So light is refracted through three refractory medium. So it is called as three times. One is cornea, first is cornea. Then there is entering the lens because it is biconvex. Again, it has to be exit from another convexity. So from front it is concave. So convexity of lens comes first, then concavity of lens comes second. So it is said three times. Refraction takes place three times. But refractory medium are two, cornea and lens. Focusing for distance vision, we require eye are fixed on an object 20 feet or more away. Ciliary muscles are completely relaxed and lens is stretched as thin as it can get. Focusing for close vision, accommodation of the lens due to ciliary muscle contraction and the lens get bulged, lens bulges. If the ciliary muscle contract, lens will get bulged. Constriction of pupils will take place and convergence of eyeballs will take place. Now let us understand a little bit about homeostatic imbalances of refraction. Now these are the refractory errors. म्हणजे जवळचं दिसत नाही, लांबचं दिसत नाही. So we call them as errors, refractory errors. And those are correctable with the help of different artificial lenses. First is myopia. Myopia means nearsightedness. So in myopia, you can see only close distance objects. You can't see far distance objects. So it is called as nearsightedness. Here the eyeball is too long. The distance of eyeball anterior-posterior is too long. And image is focused in front of retina. It doesn't fall on the retina. So this is called as myopia. And hyperopia means far-sightedness. Here you can see objects at distant place, but not near objects. You can't see near objects. Here the eyeball has become too short. Anterior-posterior length has become short. And image is focused behind the retina. The focus of the retina is behind the, focus of the light is behind the retina. So this hyperopia takes place. Both are correctable and you use glasses and lenses for that purpose. Another is astigmatism. Astigmatism is caused by unequal curvature in different parts of the lens. Okay, these are the three refractory errors right now which I wanted to tell you with the study of eyeball today. Well, where are we? Here you can see the images of all three. Myopic eye, hyperopic eye. You can see the image where it falls. In hyperopic, it is going beyond the retina. And in myopic, it is in front of the retina. And Emmetropic ion is exactly normal. It is falling exactly on the retina. So focal plane is this one. And the correction required is these two lenses for these two different refractory errors. For here, concave lens is required to correct. So means this glass has to be concave. And here in this case, there has to be a convex lens. So this is for correction in order to see that, ensure the light rays falling on the retina. So they fall on the macula lutea. This is a yellow spot, and below you can see this is a blind spot. So the nerve opposite area is blind spot. So if it falls on the blind spot, you will see nothing, but it doesn't come in the, you know, straight plane. It is located little lower. Well, now what is photoreception? Functional anatomy of the photoreceptors means there are photoreceptors which receive the light, outer segment and inner segment. The chemistry of visual pigments, retinal light absorbing pigment made from vitamin A, retinol or retinol, some combines with opsonins forming. So rhodopsin, purple visual pigment of rods. Light stimulation separates retinal from the opsins. Okay, and retinal will be rejoined with the opsins to regenerate rhodopsin later. Now you have to study vision in physiology also, but visual pathway you have to study in physiology. Okay, now this is all taken by optic now, and there is a visual area on the occipital lobe, area number 17, 18 and 19. I told you 17 is a primary visual area. Now different types of opsins in cones we'll try to understand. Three different types of cones: blue, green and red. Blue absorb blue wavelengths best, green absorb green wavelength best, and red absorb red wavelength best. This is all physics. So that is why it is non-chemical spatial sense. This is physics. And here the light is more involved. Cones wavelengths overlap. Stimulation of various cones in different amounts creates different shading and coloration. Now we have one condition called as color blindness. So night blindness, color blindness. Okay, night blindness due to vitamin E deficiency. Okay, don't make mistakes. Sometimes I also make mistake while speaking. Night blindness is due to vitamin E deficiency, and color blindness is a sex-linked genetic disorder. So genetic trait knowledge. Okay, and lack of specific types of cones, usually red or green. Lack of specific types of cones means red and green cones are absent or deficient, and that is why we get this color blindness. And this is a genetic disorder, sex-linked genetic trait. Okay, here you can see globe in different colors. This is to test the color vision in case of different people. Caps of different colors are shown here. Now light transduction in photoreceptors. So generation of electric current. So light rays, when they fall on the retina, they are converted into electric current. So because finally the brain will receive electric impulses. Okay, so for that purpose these photoreceptors have a job to do. So on the retina, the light waves, light rays, or light, what you call impulse, is converted into electric impulse. So this is called as electric current. And photoreceptors depolarize dark and hyperpolarized light. They produce graded potentials, action potential produced by ganglion cells. So light and dark adaptation, now we'll try to understand. That means when you go out of the room in the sun area, you have to have that provision to adapt to your eyes. So light adaptation from dark to light, 5 to 10 minutes it takes place for the adaptation. So from low light or from dark room, if you go to the light place, it takes 5 to 10 minutes for the purpose of adaptation. And for dark adaptation, If you come from light to dark, it takes 20 to 30 minutes for adaptation. So from outside in the afternoon, if you go to cinema hall, theater, and theater, cinema hall, lights are off and cinema is going on, what you call movie is going on, and you enter into the hall, you will not find your chair very easily. There are people there with a torch to guide you. Otherwise, it takes a lot of time to adapt. But when you go there and sit for 15-20 minutes, you all of a sudden try to see everything clearly. And that is what is called as adaptation. Now, binocular vision and stereopsis. Binocular vision is with both eyes. Anterior placement of eyes results in greater depth perception or three-dimensional vision. And my dear students, we are on the right time. We have finished this today's topic on vision. That is, we have studied third spatial sense today. And of course, we are going to study anatomy of eye separately some other day. But today I have completed the spatial sense organ as far as vision is concerned, eye is concerned. To try to remember all this because it's very useful knowledge. Everyone should be very familiar with this knowledge. Okay, and let me take a break today here. With this, I end my today's webinar. Thank you. Thanks a lot. See you back tomorrow again with the last part of the study of spatial sense organ. Tomorrow you will study hearing. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day.